Well, yes, I was shocked at the time, but I don't know. I suppose I was a bit blasé about it at the time. But I was very excited about it at the same, at the same time. But I suppose my life went in a different direction.
Well, Chantal, go ahead.
No, I went off while I was under contract. I remember going off to India at some point. And I think when I came back from India, I didn't really want to continue. Because I saw so much poverty and everything over there, you see.
I see. And, well, Chantal, on the record covers of both Extraterrestrial Lover and also the record cover for Instant Love, Chantal, you are a strikingly beautiful woman. My stars, you are a knockout. Thank you.
How are Maybe you? I was.
Well, I know I'm no longer a knockout, so I figure that we've all have a few miles. But I've got to ask you, what was it like being a beautiful woman on an album cover and on RCA Records? Did you perform live? Did you have fan club? What was that like?
I did do a few gigs live, I remember doing, and I think I went off to Holland at some point and did a video there, but as I say, nothing really came of it. And I'm just really surprised that on the other side of the Atlantic, this record was played. I had no idea about this. And if it wasn't for the internet and Glenn Rivera, I wouldn't have known anything.
You mean to this day you didn't realize? You didn't know until recently that it was even played here?
Exactly. I just thought it came into the charts in London, and I think it got really... it didn't go very well in the charts, and I just thought, well, that's it. It hasn't got anywhere. Finished. It's not going anywhere, and that's it. I really didn't think anyone had heard about it. And Dick came up with this.
Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I will never forget the song "Instant Love." Actually, it was I thought it was beautiful, and in a striking sort of an electronic music way. Your vocals and the actual lyrics are, if you listen to them, are actually beautiful.
I do like the music, actually. I've been listening to the music because I haven't actually got a copy of it. But I was listening to the music on the computer the other day, and I thought, that Trevor Vallis is really good, isn't he?
Chantal, Glenn is an expert at setting so many of these wonderful old tracks to video.
Yeah.
Did he choose, what movie did he choose to go with Instant Love? And I think he did Extraterrestrial Lover recently, too.
Yes, he did. The first movie was, I don't know, I think it's Starman or something. It's with Zaza Gabor. And he did Instant Love to that. And the next, I think the Extraterrestrial Lover was by Starman with Jeff Bridges or someone. And Karen Allen.
I think
that was it, yeah. I'm getting confused.
And these are posted on YouTube. How did you happen to come across these?
Well, a few months ago, my cousin rang me out of the blue and said, "You're on YouTube." And it was another blog. Somebody else had put me up there. And I got quite a few listeners. And suddenly it was taken off the air. And I thought, oh, well, that's gone. And then somebody else rang me up and said, "You're back on." So that was it, really.
I'll be darned. I wonder if RCA got involved and wanted the audio removed. It's a shame the way the record companies are such villains that so many of this old music is available nowhere on the planet. Yet if someone has the audacity to mix it with a video or to release a remix of it, the record companies seem to be very upset. How do you feel about that as an artist?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I thought they would have been upset after all these years because they haven't done anything with it. But then I don't know. I don't know how these things work.
Chantal, I want to ask about, without getting into dollar figures, compensations. We have so many artists that we talked to on this show, and their first records were huge hits, yet they received not a dime. Were you compensated at all? I hope you were.
I actually had a very good contract if I stayed for the 3 years, but I didn't. So I didn't get what I was supposed to, I suppose. But then that was my own fault and my own choice. You know, I went off and I had children, so to me that was more important in a way.
I see. Did you meet someone in the record business? Is that how you met your husband when you had the kids and all?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Did, yeah.
Sort of is just fine. Chantal, we have Glenn Rivera on the line for you. Glenn, welcome to Strictly Confidential.
Peter, hello, Sylvia.
Hi, Glenn.
I should say Chantal.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, Chantal. Thank you. The reason I was calling in, Peter, is I wanted to thank Chantal on the show. She was quite a very, very, very helpful in regards to getting herself, getting to know me and also getting to know Peter and the show and being a part of the show now. And this is, as for most of those DJs that know all the underground music and have played it and have loved it, and not much like the I Will Survive or the Last Dances of the disco period. This is music that was kind of the bottom of the barrel when you're looking for music. And when you found something that was this well, it was kind of like a gem to you. You held it very close to you. And this is actually a song that was referred to me by my brother who lived in San Francisco at the time and would send me postcards and note at the very bottom of the postcards which songs were climbing really big in the clubs. And he did note Instant Love, and that's how I got acquainted with the song and fell in love with it instantly, of course, pardon the pun on that, but fell in love with it right away. And, of course, Extraterrestrial Lover was following that, and that's pretty much how I got to know Chantal's music. And I've been in love with the music ever since. So this is a very big thrill for me to actually get to know her and find out a little bit more about her, because I believe that there's some energy she put into the song that made it what it is today.
Well, Glenn, I would have to agree with you. Instant Love was one of those tracks that you basically you end up. I originally ended up with it out of the record pool, and we get so many stacks of records from the record pool. It takes a while to get through them, but it was one of those very special songs that you just couldn't ignore. Instant Love, for whatever reason, was not something that you just. It took oftentimes it took the right moment to play it, but nonetheless, it was not the sort of record that you just said, no, not going to do it, don't like this. It was just wonderful music.
And that's pretty much
Thank you very much.
And that's pretty much, Peter, how I feel about it, where it always reminded me of something like Donna Summer's I Feel Love. It was sensual, it flowed very beautifully, the vocals matched the music perfectly. It was almost like a kind of a galactic futuristic feel, and the vocals kind of floated over the music. And I was talking to Chantal about the music, how Trevor Vallis was ingenious to how he created the arrangement and had the way the breaks flowed, and on an Extraterrestrial Lover he uses some kind of keyboard that sounds very similar to a music box, the little player instead of when you open a music box that plays, like little strokes of that. And it's ingenious because it creates a very trance, almost like an early trance, like in '79 there was no such thing as trance music, dance music, but it's very similar to that feel. It has a very, it kind of pulls you into it. It creates kind of like a very relaxing effect over you. And of course with her vocals over that, to me it makes it classic because it flows beautifully. And those of us, the DJs that know disco music and know what disco music's about, and we've experienced many different artists and producers creating it, we are able to kind of appreciate a little bit more and actually find a little bit more in the music. And I think this is the kind of an example. That's why it's such a thrill to have her here and also to let her know what the music has done. That's real important to me also, for the people, the artists that have a big part in it, that they know that they're appreciated and that the music's still alive out there. Although it might have been many years, they're still being appreciated. So that's what it means to me.
Oh, thank you, Glenn. That's lovely.
Oh, you're so welcome, Shani. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you.
Well, Peter, I'm going to
thank you for
the conversation.
And thank you so much for alerting Chantal and getting her on that little detail work out about the calling. Thank you, Glenn.
You're welcome, Peter. Have a good time, Chantal.
Thank you, Glenn. I'll speak to you soon.
All righty. Good night now.
Okay. Good night, Glenn.
Night.
Chantal, Glenn has been instrumental in putting this show on the map musically. He has set up for us so many incredible music guests from way back in the day that everyone had completely lost track of. And indeed, you were quite a find because Chantal, if you Google your name, or there are very, very few references to you on the internet. You are very much an enigma and very difficult to find out anything about. I'm thrilled that you were able that you got in touch with Glenn.
Thank you, Peter. That's very, very nice of you.
Chantal, I remember vividly an evening back in the early 80s. I was playing at a club called the Zoo in Portland, Oregon, and somehow or another I had 2 copies of Instant Love. So when a DJ has 2 copies of anything, you know they cannot resist playing with it. And so it's sort of the nature of the beast. I remember starting Instant Love. It was the middle of the week. It was like a medium-sized crowd there, and there were people dancing. And interestingly enough, it fit beautifully. For whatever reason, the song was just magic. The dance floor packed with Instant Love, and it's hard to put my finger on because there's so many anthems from back in the day that you could always count on packing a dance floor. That was quite an evening, actually. The evening went very, very well from there, and also at the same time, having 2 copies, I began phasing the 2 albums together. You no doubt know about DJs who do that sort of thing when they just can't resist. Well, it was a magical phasing because it was one of those things where when the pitch controls were set somehow or another, they were magically set exactly the same. And I'd be darned if that song didn't phase for about 5-6 minutes. There was a DJ who was working as a bartender that night. He was working. He sort of worked. Catching a few extra bucks. His name is Timmy Feller. He's no longer with us now. But I remember he looked up at the DJ booth and his jaw had dropped because it's like, how can you be phasing this long? And I guess gave him a shrug. I had no idea. But magic things like that did happen. Sylvia, were you influenced by the Italo disco? We've heard so much wonderful Italo disco here that most of us haven't heard by way of Alex Natikin, who's also referred to us by Glenn. What was that like over there?
The metallic disco, did you say?
The Italo, or actually, yes. European, really. It's not really all from Italy, but for whatever reason, we keep calling it Italo over here. Italo disco.
Oh. I really don't know, Peter.
I see.
Know what that refers
I see. There so many. For example, one of the big ones was Fun with Color My Love, and that was huge back in the day. I was wondering if you heard those or were influenced by them.
Back in the day, but I really don't remember much. I mean, it's 30 years ago.
Well, to us, it's like yesterday.
A long time ago. Yeah, I have trouble remembering yesterday.
Chantal, did you travel? Did you travel back in the day?
I did. I went to a few places, and I did a bit of traveling, and then, of course, I had the children, and so I've been quite busy with them because I've got quite a few years between them all. I see. Well,
so, Chantal, did you travel singing the song when the song was at its peak?
No. I just did a few gigs in London, and I remember going to Holland and I think Scotland, and doing a gig there. But I didn't really travel that much, no.
Chantal, you in the same year you came out with Extraterrestrial Lover, which I think was far more popular actually than Instant Love. How did you happen to come across that song? Did Trevor give that song to you, or have it written for you? How did that work?